Hello and welcome. I'm Gohar Raza and you are watching Eureka, a program that is devoted to Indian scientists. Let me begin by telling you a story. In a small district of UP, which is known for bangles and glassware, there was a family where father was police constable, mother was homemaker with 5 children. The eldest child was a son, good in his studies, encouraged by parents and larger family. He started excelling in school. There was some problem with mathematics. And for learning mathematics, this child had to go to one student who was good in mathematics, and an old cycle was bought for him. Other children laughed when they saw him on bicycle, which was making all kinds of noises. And then there was a disaster in the family. Father passed away. Yet the family's support continued. Mother struggled, and the boy was finally admitted to IIT Kanpur. He did his MTech from there and became a scientist. This boy was recently awarded Young Scientist Award. Welcome to Rajya Sabha channel,
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Singh, as you are generally known. Bhanu Pratap Singh. It's a long name.
Yes.
So generally people call you Dr. BP Singh or
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Singh.
Sometimes people say Dr. BP Singh, sometimes Dr. Singh, or some senior colleagues also say Dr. Bhanu. So all three names are in.
Okay. You are generally known with all three
All- yeah.
names. Let's go back to your school
Yes, sir.
where you had to carry Bora with you
Yes, sir.
to sit in the class. How difficult was it, or was it something natural for you?
This was natural. All the students are coming with such kind of borage and takti. So that's why all are natural. All
The
people
black
are-
takhti.
Yeah, black takti.
और उसके ऊपर मिट्टी लगाते थे
Yes, yes, sir.
और फिर सेठे के कलम से
Yes, yes, sir.
पढ़ते थे. When did you first time got your copy and pencil?
Yeah, when I was in fourth class, then I got it. I was very happy to see that writing on this notebook.
It was a major change
Yeah, it's a
in
major
life,
change in life.
and you utilized this to the fullest extent, and you wanted to write and scribble and
Yes,
make
sir.
it a part of your life and education.
Yes, sir.
When did this atmosphere change in your life? When was it that you started getting proper books and proper pencil and pen and all that?
This basically came in around when we were the sixth class. Sixth class, all the thing, bags and copies, all the books, pen, pencil, came the sixth class when I was in the sixth class.
How big was the school?
In the sixth, actually, my father was in the police. So he was transferred regularly from one place to another place. So I studied around 10 schools and up to the 12th. So it's about
Changed 10 schools.
10 schools.
Every year the
Every
school
one
was
school.
changed.
Yes.
How good the teachers were?
Teachers were very good.
In all these 10 schools?
Yes, yes. I remember they taught us in a nice way. Still something I remember so far they have taught me, and that is very important for me also on the earlier classes.
So you remember
Yes.
schools with love and
Yeah,
affection?
most of them.
Most of them. Would you look back and say that the teachers were the real assets because other things were not there, other
Yes.
amenities were not there? You had to sit on ground, study, and there was hardly any pen, pencil, blackboard, etc. So it was the teachers who made a difference.
Yes, sir. That's all teacher. Teacher is very important.
It was mainly teachers. I hope that teachers are listening. They can make a good scientist, a major asset for the country. if they are sincere and serious.
Yes.
When did you get interested in science? Because most children in those schools where facilities are not there are scared of science and mathematics, both.
When I was in around 9th and 10th class, and I was good in studies, and father and parents said it's a good, and he will go into science. And sometimes one another thing which I would like to share, I used to ask several questions. Although people asked, the students asked, my daughter also asked
Very
several questions,
irritating person.
questions. Keep saying. So, but sometimes these are very interesting questions. Some people who are sitting with me, sometimes they don't, I will not like to sit with him because he will ask some questions. Or they will be irritating. So, but my father always appreciates that. He used to say, he's asking so many questions, he may solve answer of these questions himself. I think this has been true for that.
So it was mainly encouragement from the father.
Yes, sir.
And he encouraged you to ask questions instead of generally scolding,
Yes,
which
yes, sir.
normally parents do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That
He always appreciated.
made your life.
Yes, sir.
And when did you started asking questions which are real science questions?
These were just I took ninth, after 9th, 10th and 11th, and then schooling 9th and 12th, basically.
What were the questions that came to your mind?
Sometimes some questions were very silly and sometimes very good. You see, when in the summer vacations, generally we used to go our hometowns and Nani house, and some of maternal uncle and Nana ji was sitting, and then one very important question what I used to ask, that there are two types of roofs, you know. Then one is made of RCC and another one is made of red tiles with the girder.
Right.
So what I like the red stone and girder. Why? But don't like the RCC because it's having some design type of things. Then I used to ask why the people are making two types of this roofs. Then they asked to say, basically the richer people who are having a lot of money, they made their roof of the RCC, but the person who are not having so much of money, they used to make their roof with the girder and the red. But I thought it's much better than there's RCC. Why there people are making?
Why rich people are
making
going
wasting
in
the
for
money?
RCC roofs?
Then I realize now it's a very good for the structural composite nowadays, which we are doing the studies. The RCC is very good for structural composite.
When did you decide to join the stream of chemistry?
Chemistry, basically, up to the 12th, this was basically the science and the physics, chemistry, and maths. And then did admission in the BTech. That was the chemical engineering.
Just before, why didn't you go in for electrical or mechanical or civil?
This was basically when I got admission in this engineering. We were just, I don't know what branch is very good, where should go. Nobody was about to tell me which is better. I was in the counseling hall, where this is basically initially there were three types of engineering courses: IIT, Roorkee, or MNR. This was the MNR counseling room. We were just sitting. Some other friends were also sitting, not friends, the general people who are coming for the counseling.
Right.
Then we were just discussing which branch is good, which is good. The people started saying, chemical engineering, very good branch. Then we offered that engineering.
And that decided
that I will be the chemical engineer on that. There was not a big issue on that.
Without even understanding.
Not understanding that. Okay.
I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. The program will continue. Welcome back. Dr. Bhanu Pratap, we were discussing that how others, the peers that had collected there for the same admission that you had gone for, influenced your decision to go in for that. You have said that your mama and your mother, these two personalities were your role models.
Yes.
Is it because there was a tragedy in the family that you had to rely on other relatives, mama and your nana ji and all that? Was that the case? And then they became your role
This
model?
was one case, and another thing here, they were very good in the studies also. On that time, and all the relatives, if I see, then my mama ji was the highest educated personality on that day. When I used to see, I wanted that, he's very good personality, I should be also like them. So then this is the only reason. And the mother basically she helped in a lot of way. Always all mothers do it, but she struggled too much for me, and she make me a good personality on that. I feel that so far.
So you have been made by your mother.
Mother, yes sir. The full credit go to my mother.
Right. When you were doing MTech,
Yes sir.
then you were given
Okay.
a project
Yes, sir.
which changed your life completely, your outlook towards science, your relationship with your teammates and other friends. Would you like to tell
Yes, sir.
the story?
I joined MTech in chemical engineering department, and then one project was given in which we have to develop a simulator for reactive distillation.
What is simulator?
Simulator which we have to get some results without doing any of the experiments.
Okay.
And then that can be utilized for the commercial application. So what is the reactive distillation is a project which was given to me to develop a simulator in which we can give some simulation on that. So we were basically two colleagues, two very good friend mine, and we started working on that project. We are doing day and night on that project, but we are not successful. But one day,
Sleepless nights.
yeah, sleep day and night. We are working 12 night, sometimes coming morning up to the lab, but we are not successful. But we are doing a lot of work.
At times you took food at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, sometimes, so many times.
Yeah.
And then one day I thought that we got the result. And that program was successful, and we were so happy at that time. And same time we also,
How did you celebrate?
we just started jumping in the lab. Myself and my colleague both started jumping in the lab, dancing. And then I called to my supervisor on the same time. He also came, and he appraised that.
You could call supervisor,
Yeah, yeah.
your supervisor at night at 12 o'clock?
Yes, sir. He came at the same time, and he was very happy. Then we did a lot of simulations on that, and that the simulations work, and we also got papers on that.
Two papers.
Two papers on
Two
that.
papers.
On that.
These were the first
Yeah, these are the
research papers
first
that
papers.
you published
Yes, sir.
along with your supervisor and your
Yes, sir.
colleague. When did you get interested in nanotechnology?
Yes. After completing MTech, I joined CSIR, National Physical Laboratory, as a scientist B. The department, which is a carbon department, in which we have to develop carbon-based product. And then a challenge was
Was
given.
your mother happy when you joined in NPL, National
Yes,
Physical
she was very
Laboratory,
happy.
one of the premier institutions
Yes.
in the country?
She was very happy, still very happy. So,
Yeah, you were telling about nanotechnology.
nanotechnology. Then I joined NPL, and then problem was given to me on the carbon nanotube. It's a very good nanomaterial on which we have to first synthesize the carbon nanotube. And
Is it because it was a fashion during those days to start working on
no, no, so
nanotechnology? Because it was upcoming area
the
of
carbon
science.
nanotube is a very fascinating material, and that group which I have joined, so that group is also working on the carbon materials. Then carbon nanotube is a part of that. So that's why that work was given to me, on which the carbon nanotube is very fascinating material. You know, it's a very high mechanical properties. It's a specific strength, 100 times than steel, and lighter than the steel. It's having a very good mechanical property over the carbon fiber, good electrical conductivity, so many properties. So then I started synthesizing this carbon nanotube, and then the application of this carbon nanotube into its composite. Three different.
Did you feel at that time that carbon nanotubes are going to open up a very different world,
Yes, sir.
which will be a new world of materials which will be used for various kinds of applications?
Yes, I realized
You
that.
realized the moment you joined NPL
Yes, I
that
realized.
this is a field which is going to change the world.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you started
I
working.
started working.
Would you like to tell us that what is this carbon nanotube?
Carbon nanotube basically is cylindrical form of a carbon, which is having a diameter in some of the nanometer, and the length is some nanometer, micrometer, some of centimeter. The aspect ratio is very high. It's so small. If we see up a human hair, it can be 1,000 to 1 lakh of the carbon nanotube in single human hair.
So you cannot see one single carbon nanotube
Yeah, you cannot see from a naked eye.
from
You
naked
see-
eye.
You see,
So
just
how
like-
do you produce them?
There are several techniques are available, and then after production, then we have to characterize it in then some of the scanning electron microscopy, then go for the transmission electron
So
microscopy.
once you have produced them, you have to go to maybe microscope or
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
very
Then
high
we can see
resolution
that either it
microscope,
has been formed or not. Then it is only.
has it been formed or not, you
Yes, sir.
don't know till you go and test it
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir.
And what is the difference between a tube and a sheet of carbon?
Yes.
Nanosheet.
Nanosheet basically does after the carbon nanotube, another material which has been seed. This is called seed. Carbon seed is graphene. This is
Right.
now is another material of the very fascinating material of the carbon. Tube is basically the sheet is rolled up into cylindrical form. Then it's called tube. If it opens, then it's called sheet.
Right. And the properties completely change when you roll it.
No, no, no. This is not that. Sheet is also having very good properties. It's carbon nanotube having a very good property compared to other macro scale materials.
So, the problem that you cracked, for which you have been awarded, you have been given a national award, what was the problem and how did you think of that problem?
Actually, the focus of my research is development of carbon nanotube based composite material. But the biggest problem is how to make a good quality of the composite material. And to synthesize the carbon nanotube, it will form in the bundle forms. The bundle forms is a lot of carbon nanotube together. Then when you want to
They
utilize,
stick together
yeah,
because of the forces.
this is van der Waals interaction.
Right.
When you want to add or reinforce this carbon nanotube in any of the polymer matrix, we have to properly disperse. A uniformly dispersion should be there.
If I understand you correctly, that you have a material and already there, which is the base material, maybe some kind of plastic or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Then you have to debundle
Yes, sir.
these
It's true.
tubes
Yeah.
and disperse them evenly,
Evenly.
on the surface so that a composite material is constructed.
Then you can exploit the proper property of this carbon nanotube. If there are the bundles of carbon nanotube, then individual carbon property cannot be utilized in the composite material. So I have developed several processes on that.
So, the major problem was that this bundle has to be unbundled and spread over this sheet. Only then you can utilize
In the
the
proper
properties properly. I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. The discussion will continue. Welcome back. Dr. Bhanu Pratap, we were discussing that the bundles that you get when you start manufacturing these rolled pipes at nano level,
Yes.
then you have to unbundle them and disperse them. Only then you can exploit.
Yes,
things.
sir.
How difficult this problem is technology wise?
The thing is, first, it's in nano scale. You cannot see in the naked eye. So first, we have to go for several processes on that. And then first we have done some of the experiment. There are several techniques. Generally, the ultrasonication, magnetic stirring, high speed homogenization. You try in that, and then some of the combination of the technique give the good results on that.
But that is only at lab level. How do
level.
you take it to production level?
Yeah, this is still a big challenge. Now, on the lab scale, people have done it successfully way. Now it's going on for the technology level.
NASA scientists are doing exactly the same research.
Yes, sir.
How do you place your research vis-a-vis what NASA scientists are doing? Are you at the same level?
We cannot compare two people on that way. What exactly NASA is doing, what I am doing. This is an entirely different thing. What I am doing, I can understand that what the level of my science is there. What the NASA is doing, I cannot say what exactly they are doing.
I've asked this question repeatedly, that if we do not develop capabilities within the country, we will not be able to even understand the technology that is developed in the first world. So, in order to even understand the technology that comes or the work that is being done in developed countries, we need to develop capabilities within the country. Do you agree with that, that without high level of sciences, without inputs into sciences and without these big, very, very expensive equipments, you cannot develop the technology?
Yes, it's important. We should develop our own indigenous technology to the countries, and then we should do it in this way.
And do you think that younger generation is capable of taking the challenge?
Yes, we are very capable for taking any challenge, any type of challenge.
That is what you get from IIT Kanpur?
Yeah, IIT
Are
Kanpur,
you-
or from my
are you-
childhood also, capability for doing anything.
Once a challenge is thrown,
Yes,
Indian mind is as good as any mind
yes,
anywhere
it's absolutely true.
in the world. Do you also think that we have sufficient money that's coming into science, or we require more money?
Its amount is sufficient, but we should also highlight some other field which is very important for the nation, and the priority of the nation on that. Some other funds should also be given to the.
Are you also saying that nanotechnology cannot develop in isolation? Generally, the sciences have to develop, and therefore you can develop better materials within the country.
No, this is basically you are having a lot of. You should have a collaboration with the other scientists who are having a very good facility of that. You don't have that facility. Somebody is having the facility. Then you said collaboration with that people. They can do it. And the nanotechnology also the same kind of thing. Every instrument cannot be having one person. It's having some other persons.
You've also worked on shielding of radiation
Yes, sir.
using nanotubes. What is this work all about, and why it's important?
Shielding, basically, electromagnetic interference is a very serious concern nowadays for the modern society. It's not only create the problem for the instrument, but also for the human being. The radiation coming is also creating the problem for human being. So there is a stringent requirement to develop new materials. Although there are some materials which are based on metals. Metals having a problem of heavy weight, the processing is difficult, and it's a corrosion. So carbon nanotube having a very good property, such kind of, it's having good electrical conductivity. If we utilize this carbon nanotube in any of the polymer matrix, we can make a flexible carbon nanotube polymer composite which can be used as a good EM shielding materials. And with the additional advantage of processing and the
It will have
flexibility.
application right from computer, which radiates,
Yes,
to a microwave oven,
yes, sir.
to a drilling machine,
Bilkul.
to a rocket,
Yes, sir.
or space application. Once you have these materials, what kind of changes will come about in technologies?
When you're having a new kind of material, first you have to test those material on that environment where the other material also existing. How these materials are better in the existing materials. Once it's fulfill all the thing, then they can replace the older material with the better performance.
And we'll have cost saving
Cost
right
saving
from the
also,
beginning
yeah.
to getting a better environment in which people can work
Yes, sir.
and people can enjoy life without any harmful effects. You have developed this technology and it has direct application in aviation. Would you like to say something about that?
Yes. The aviation, the composite material, just really structural composites, then carbon fiber based polymer composites are used. But my idea is, if we use carbon nanotube in addition to the carbon fiber is also very much useful. Then we add some of the carbon nanotube inside of that. This is called the hybrid composite, carbon nanotube, carbon fiber epoxy composite, and which having a better property than the existing carbon fiber epoxy composite, with lighter in the weight, which can be used in the aerospace and other aviation devices.
Where exactly?
Actually,
Where
the-
exactly? The structure of the
Structure, yeah. This structure is that not
plane-
only for the aviation, also in the energy sector, the windmill blades is also made of a carbon fiber composite. If you have a lighter blade, then it can also be less energy consuming.
What will be the extent of cost saving?
Cost saving, actually the carbon fiber, if you are utilizing a higher amount, we will reduce that carbon fiber and then add very small amount of carbon nanotube on that. Then it can be also be cost saving with the better properties and the lower in the weight. Lower in the weight will again be cost effective, it's less energy consuming.
Okay. So the fuel itself would be
very
saved across the board.
Yes.
All aviation fuel utilized by the planes would be saved, and it will be massive
Yeah.
saving of cost at international level. Well, how do you see the future of nanotechnology in the country? Are we doing well?
We are doing well, but there are a lot of further improvements are required, and we people are also focusing on that. We will do, and it will be in the further in the few years will come into the picture.
How many scientists, in your opinion, are involved in nanotechnology research in the country? Is it sufficient number? Do you find your peers within the country, or do you find them outside the country?
We have a very lot of good scientists in India working on the nanotechnology. Yeah, very good numbers. Actually,
Are you satisfied and
exact
happy with
numbers I don't know, but I'm satisfied with that number.
You interact regularly with
Yeah,
other
a lot
groups?
of groups I interact.
And what kind of support do you get from them?
Yeah, a lot of information. If you go for attend their lectures, and the information can be shared with those people. It's a very interesting.
Now, coming back to your award,
Yes,
you have been awarded the highest award in the country,
Yes, sir.
which a young scientist can get.
Yes, sir.
How excited were you when you were given this award?
I was very happy. I also talked to my mother. She was very happy. She also came with.
Must have felt very proud of
very
you.
proud of. She came in the award ceremony also, and I feel it's good for the hard work which I have done, and then my support from our team, which has supported me in very well way of my senior colleagues and junior colleagues and my students. This was basically of that. But further, I am working hard for further in which what the material which I have developed in our laboratory, it will be commercialized in a technology way, then I will be more than happy.
How did you manage to publish so many papers in the excellent journals? And on top of that, you also had 4 patents.
Yes.
How did you manage that?
I working so much
2
for that.
papers a month is hell of a lot.
Yes, sir. This is not only according to only my work. The people, I have a good team of scientists, students. They are all are working together. That's why I also able to publish so many papers, and also working hard in the laboratory in late night and early in the morning.
What essentially you are saying is that science today is not an individual activity. It has to be a group activity, a team has to be built. Would you like to give a message to the younger scientists, students who want to make their career in science?
There are a lot of difficulties in everybody's life. I also felt so many difficulty in my family life. Don't run away from those difficulties or the problems. Face these problems in a positive way. Once you face this problem, you develop a lot of confidence on that.
Face them head on.
Yeah, then you lot of confidence developed. And this development of the confidence will help you in the future.
Face the difficulties head on and develop the confidence. It will automatically bring confidence in you, and you will be able to cross the hurdles that life poses. That is the message we take back home. Thank you very much for giving us so much of time. I'm sure that you'll be happy to answer any questions if our viewers have them.
I will be very much happy.
So write to us if you have any question or query. Our email address is eurekarstv@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with another scientist. Till then, goodbye.